Wichita, Kansas.
January 2005, a quiet middle-class neighborhood where children rode bikes on tree-lined streets and neighbors waved to each other over white picket fences. The kind of place where people felt safe.
But on a cold winter morning, a phone call to a local television station would shatter that illusion forever.
The caller claimed responsibility for a murder no one knew had happened, and he promised there would be more.
For 31 years, he had been hiding in plain sight.
A husband, a father, a church leader,
and one of the most prolific serial killers in American history.
Dennis Rader lived at 6220 Independence Street. He worked for the city, installing security systems. On weekends, he was president of his church congregation.
His neighbors described him as helpful, if a bit rigid.
No one suspected the darkness beneath the surface.
Between 1974 and 1991, 10 people were murdered in and around Wichita.
The victims ranged from young children to elderly women.
The killer strangled them, sometimes torturing them first.
He called himself BTK Bind, torture, kill. The crime scenes were meticulous.
He'd cut phone lines, plan his entry points, bring his own rope and tape.
This wasn't impulsive.
This was organized, calculated. He got pleasure from the control. In 1974, BTK's first victims were the Otero family.
Joseph, Julie, and 2 of their 5 children, 11-year-old Josephine and 9-year-old Joey. He killed them all in their home, one by one, on a quiet January morning. The Otero murders showed us we were dealing with someone different.
He spent hours in that house.
He wasn't rushed. He was experimenting, refining his technique, and he wanted credit for it.
After the Otero murders, BTK sent letters to the media.
Taunting, detailed. He described what he'd done and promised to do it again.
Then, for years, he'd go silent.
Until the urge returned. 1977. Shirley Vion, strangled in her home while her children were locked in a bathroom. 1977. Nancy Fox, strangled in her bedroom. BTK called police afterward to report his own crime. 1985. Maureen Hedge, strangled and her body taken to a remote location. 1986. Vicky Weigel, shot and strangled in her home. 1991. Dolores Davis, strangled and dumped under a bridge. And then, nothing. For 13 years, BTK vanished. The murder stopped. The letters ceased. Investigators assumed he was dead, imprisoned for another crime, or had simply stopped.
But Dennis Rader hadn't stopped. He was just waiting.
March 2004, a local newspaper published an article marking the 30th anniversary of the Otero murders. The article suggested BTK might be dead or had lost interest in seeking recognition.
That article got under his skin. His ego couldn't handle being forgotten.
He needed people to know he was still out there, still relevant.
So he